Hello everyone. And many of the friends and asked us about that's how the S-Bus should be integrated with a third-party devices. Mr. Danny from United States has sent me this one, uh, three pieces of the the optimal motor controller to take control for the shadows and the curtain control. And here is you can see some of the features for these devices. And firstly, and we just briefly go through this one. And here I listed the features. Actually, it is just you can use this one to take control for the curtain and the shadows. And this one with two RJ45 the interface, just like this one I'll show you, and here, and we can make this one to connect it to the curtain, and also can connect it to RS485 the bus. And here this one can make a power supply and also for other uses, and you can read from this brochure. I will enclose this one and to the FAQs folder so everyone can check from here later, and let's see clearly. So let's come back to see what the devices and we have for this testament. And we have three of this one, but now and we need for test only and two of the devices. We have two controllers and one controller here and another here. And this one we also connected to the power supply, and here, and also we have the two lines for each of the devices to be for indication of the command processing. And here we have also DTP and to take control of all this one. And you see also here we have the powerful tool. This one is the RSIP, and the RSIP directly connected to the router. We use here the RSIP has the interface for RS485 data cable. You may see from here. So we just use the data in and data out. You see the full code has been using here, and this one is connected to the RJ45 the net port and to the controller. Here the same, you can see from here. And this one is the DTP, and this one connected to the S-Bus networker through the S-Bus net cable. And this is the two lines and for indication lines of the status of the channel status. We also have a power supply here to supply the power for these two devices of the controller. And now let's firstly test for this one, for example. And we have programmed already the first button to group control, the one for group control for up. You see the indication lines, the two lines is on, and this one is for down, and then press one more time, and then this one to stop. Here the same. If we press this one to be up, and then the two controller, we see maybe two shadows is on, and then here, and then when you press one more time, and this one to be off, and it means it is stopped. And we also program the third pattern to this one to be for single on, and it means maybe and then shutter the current to be open, and then press for stop for pause, and this one is for another one, and to up or down or anything as you like. Okay, and in next procedure I will show you how can we do it and from the smart cloud for programming. Before we go in for smart cloud, we needed to have some basic understanding about the protocol. And here is the protocol for optimal curtains and sent by Mr. Danny. And this one is the RS485, the RS232 protocol from here. And now you would see here is a list of all the command and some illustrations and demos for this one. But firstly, forget this one. We go to the last one. And you may need to understand that how this one to be programmed actually is too much complicated for us, but don't worry. You need firstly to understand of this one. And firstly, and we see this is D1. The D1 here is for the device ID. You see this code is for the device ID, and this one is for channel ID. They have two of these places and for the channel ID, and so both D2 and D3 is for channel ID. But before that, they also have some pre-suffix, and this one, let's forget it. But the most important that you need to know, and this one is for the device ID, and this one is for channel ID, and this one also for channel ID. And they have followed by some binary bit. And this is the format and what they are being usually writing in this way. And from here you would see the D4 and the D5 is for command. The command type here it means different type of commander, and you are sending, and D5 and is a real command, and that's for example maybe you need to open the curtain and close the curtain and turn on, turn off, and stop, just like this one. And this one here, and give the illustrate for upwarding and stop, and downward, and the learning code and the cancel code, and for all these ones. So it's very clear for this one. And then this is the check code for verification to see if the command has been executed successful or not. And here they also give some of the illustration and for this one. Okay, firstly, and we would come back again, but firstly, and we go to the smart cloud. And you see from here the smart cloud, and we have the RSIP. We are here making for testament for one of the device ID for this RSIP is 106 or 102. Since we need only to take control from RSIP, So, and this one used the 485 bars protocol, so we needed to only come in here for S bus to RS485, and for easy remember, and we have make the mark for this one. Remark, you can see, and we have this one number 1 for group a moment, and here because we have made 8 of this one. If you have more of the command timers, and you can put here, because the RSIP support to from 1 to 1999 of the command in list, and we have list 8 of this one. Now let's go for the remark. We have made the remark for this one, and the universal switch 1 and for group up. And here in this case, it means that we use the 2 controller, and the 2 controller to be grouped as the group. And so the first one is for up and pause, and a second one is for group stop, and the third one is for group down, and this one is for also for group stop also. And this one is for ID1. It means we have 2 of these devices for and the first one we give the ID1, and the second one we give the ID2. So we make remarks here, and then you can easy to remember what you have done for this one. And now we are talking about how to make the programming and configuration for this one. And firstly, if we are talking for this one, this is for ID1, is for channel 1 for up. It means we have here this one, and so this one we have the ID, we have give and assign this one the ID as ID1, and this device is ID2. If you ask how to give the ID for this one, you can check from the documents, because they have already given by the protocol, so we are not discuss here. And here you see we have the ID1, and then the target here. The most important is for this one, and this is commander number 1, and you would remember the commander number 1, and this is time for 100 ms. This one input form, and we have selected the hexing, and according to the protocol. And this one maybe is not so easy to understand, but the first one is for pre-suffix, so this one is not so important here, but the most important that you can understand. And this is the device for ID1, the first device, and this is the first channel. So you have device 1 and also the channel number here, and then here is for take control of the commander, and 00 is for command type, and this one is for take control, and such like this one is for DD is sending control. And we can take a review from the protocol. You see the first one here we have listed, for example, for this one and D3, and this one is D4, and this is a prefix of this one, and then you see 0A, and then if sending the commander as the upward, and then this is double D, so 0A and double D, and is for take control of the command of upward. So we come back here, is for upward of the 0A and then double D. So actually, if you, it is easy and clear to understand of this such a command. And this one is for the verification of the code of the command if you are successfully to be executed or not. So this is an explanation and for the single control, single device control. They also have some of the group controls. For example, we have here for the group up, and the character string, actually here we call the character string. The character string, the formula is the same, and the first one and this one is for prefix and pre-suffix, and this one is for device ID, and then for other controls from here. And you can read and check from the SBUS, and they have here for up computer send data to motor and data instructions, and here, and so accordingly they also have some two explanations for group control and for single channel control, and you can look up from here. And then since now and you have some of the knowledge on this protocol, and we have be programmed here, and then it would be not so difficult for you to understand and how to make integration for this one. Let's come back here, test again. And this one is for group controls, and this one has been setting out. You can also have this one to be watched from command test 9. But and we have another instruction books for this one. If you know the SBUS protocol, and then you can read from here and what of the kind of command you are sending, and which kind of command and the test and the feedbacks, and you can take from here. Thank you so much. And just now we have finished the configuration for RSIP, but then now we are coming here to see how to program for DDP. And this one is just doing the button assignment, and we'll make the first page to be taken control of this one. And the mode and we selected as the single on off, you see from here, and indicated device ID, and this one 102 is for RSIP, and the control type is universal switch, and this one is for universal switch number 1 on and number 1 on. And this button, a second button, is for universal switch number 3, and this one is for the universal switch number. So you just need to remember and which universal switch number you are being using here. And this is number 4. And here let's go review of this RSIP P commander. And here the type also the universal switch number. Here is the switch number, and the type is switch number, a universal switch, and this is switch number 1, and this one is for on and this one is for off actually, and then number 3, number 2, and number 4. Actually we have 4 kinds of the switch numbers here. Okay, thank you. Have a good day.